attempted suicide in 2003. Looking back, he says, "I was in a bad place. I was fortunate enough to play football from the age of 9 to 32. But when the lights cut out for me, personally in the stadium, that was tough to take. I was drinking a lot and spending time alone. I was isolated and didn't have anyone I could talk to about the issues I was dealing with. Sometimes the loss can be too overwhelming." You know, when you talk about overwhelming and you talk about what these athletes go through, and you have one child who took his own life, I am so grateful and happy to see the evolution of sports psychology today. It's not just about helping athletes overcome anxiety and giving them mental strategies and tools for their mental toolbox to be able to elevate their game and perform better, but give them coping skills when they transition out of sport, when they transition from high school to college, when they retire, when they're injured, how to come back from an injury, how to overcome the fear of re-injury. All of these aspects are so important, and they are my passion. I work with athletes today, and it is pretty much my side business because I always just work with a handful of athletes because I become so personally ingrained in their life, because I want to help them and make sure they can be successful in sport and out, for those who are injured and need to move on, and for those who are still playing. When Troy Vincent, a former NFL vice president of player engagement and former Pro Bowl cornerback, was asked about life after the NFL, he stated, "You're talking about an identity crisis. Every athlete has to face the same question when they're done. Who am I?" At times when we think that athletes are on top of the world, we are completely unaware that they are dealing with different things in their private lives. It's like a silent suffering. Take, for instance, 28-time Olympic medal winner Michael Phelps. He has discussed his bouts of major depression that he typically experienced after the Olympics. He's confessed to using drugs and self-medicating to help him escape his depression. In 2012, Phelps decided he was not only done with his sport, but done with living too. He fell into a deep depression, and he knew he needed help. One point that I really need to get across is that when athletes lose their sport, they need time to grieve. It's just like encountering a death. Grieving takes time. We have to allow athletes to accept their situations in their own time in a productive and safe manner. With that said, it is important to understand that there are identifiable signs of distress that athletes experience. People are all affected by loss differently. Some will exhibit different emotions, anger, frustration. They'll also lash out for no reason. While some will retreat within themselves and tell no one of their pain, some will speak about it. But it's so important, if someone speaks to you about it, to listen, to be supportive. Not everybody understands what it's like when you lose a sport. A lot of times people say, just get over it. People think you can just get over certain things, and not everybody is as resilient as the next person. We will never truly know how dark a person's mind can become. It is vitally important to reconnect the mind-body component as the mind tells the body to move forward. So that's the end of my introduction, and I hope you all want to tune in for my next chapter. Chapter 1 discusses what I went through. That chapter for me was extremely cathartic. I needed to tell my story, but I think I needed to hear it out loud for myself. This book was extremely cathartic for me. I truly hope this book helps you too. And for those of you who are listening, please pass it on. I hope you enjoy each chapter. They're going to be separate, so you don't have to listen to all of them. Maybe one of the titles will encourage you to have someone listen to it. Maybe you'll want to listen to it yourself. But thank you so much for tuning into my podcast. This is Dr. Laura Mealy, and this is Psych, Sport, and Safety. Until next time.